What is going on, Cardano community? Welcome back to the official Dapp Central YouTube channel. I'm your host here, Fareed, and as a part of today's video, I want to give you guys a brief update surrounding the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Over the course of this last month, I officially launched the stake pool on January 21st of this year. Since then, we've grown to over 2.5 million ADA in terms of delegation. And before I just dive into today's video, I just want to say thank you to all of my delegators that have supported me even prior to the actual launch of the stake pool. This entire channel and what I'm doing would definitely not be possible if it wasn't for your guys' help along the way. That said, I've received some questions regarding the rewards of the stake pool and the current interest rate of the stake pool from existing delegators as well as members looking to become a part of the Dapp Central stake pool. So without taking up any more time and in the air of honesty and transparency, I want to give you guys a full update. And if at any point you guys have any questions or concerns, then you guys can go ahead and send me a direct email at dapp.central.crypto@gmail.com. And I will do my best to get back to you guys with as much of a thorough response as possible. So there's been two things at play here. Again, the Dapp Central stake pool has not minted its first block just yet, but we're anticipating that to occur here very shortly. So bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And what I want to do is talk about the two things that have recently impacted the stake pool and exactly what we've done to make sure that those issues don't plague us moving forward. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And the first thing I want to mention is going to be the node outage, or the node desynchronization, as some people may refer to it, which occurred on January 23rd of 2023. Now, I did a really good job of covering this on my channel as it actually occurred in real time. If I'm not mistaken, this occurred, I want to say it was on a late Sunday night at about 1 a.m. in the morning here at around UTC time, in which we saw a short-lived desynchronization or outage of more than 50% of the nodes, right, or stake pools that are talking to each other basically come offline. Now, they did reboot the majority of them. However, some of them did not. If you guys aren't aware, this is basically going to be the backbone of Cardano. Without validators being online, there's going to be no way for transactions to be validated and propagated throughout the actual decentralized blockchain. So this was a very big issue which occurred, and it was actually the first time that this ever occurred on Cardano. Now, since then, the IOG Foundation, or the Cardano Foundation, has released an additional upgrade patching this issue, and I'm actually going to be talking about that here as a part of my next slide. Again, bear with me. I've got a total of 3 slides in which I want to give you guys an update just surrounding the ecosystem as well as the specific Dapp Central stake pool. So as you guys can see here, this node outage or desynchronization occurred on January 23rd of 2023. And I've got 2 articles here, one from CoinDesk and then another one from a separate platform. Again, here they're both highlighting the time at which, or around which, the node outage occurred, which was on January 23 of 2023. That said, the official Dapp Central stake pool, and let me get myself out of the way here, was launched about 2 to 3 days before that. Now, keep in mind, I had not advertised the stake pool at the time. However, as you guys can see here from this particular transaction, in epoch number 389, 1 day before the outage is actually when we had registered the stake pool. So unfortunate timing. Obviously, nobody knew that this outage would be occurring the next day, especially after we had just registered the stake pool. But due to that unforeseen circumstance, the actual registration process was slightly delayed. Again, a lot of the nodes that were tied back to the official Dapp Central stake pool basically went offline. Some of them did come back online. However, additional ones did not, therefore breaking the connection between the node and the actual network. The network basically gives you, I believe it's about a 4-hour time slot to continue communicating with it. Once it fails to do that, you're basically kicked out of the network until you reestablish a handshake and then pick back up on another connection. So between that day, it took us about 10 or so days to figure out that the outage had impacted the node. And when we went in to basically make sure that everything was still functional, we had noticed that things were out of sync. That said, on February 4th of 2023, again noted here by the second transaction, we went ahead and reestablished the stake pool certificate. Now, anytime that you go ahead and actually update certificates for these stake pools, there is a 2-epoch period in which you're not able to actually produce blocks or contribute directly to the block production and security of the network. So if I move myself out of the way here one more time, you're going to notice that on January 22nd, when we had done the initial registration before the network outage, the registration should have been active on epoch number 391. Again, we had registered it during epoch number 389. When we came back in after realizing the issue which had occurred due to the outage, we went ahead and basically reestablished a new certificate, which was launched on epoch number 392. And this was actually right at the very end of the epoch's close. That said, that particular certificate has now kicked in as a part of epoch number 395. So hopefully you guys are following me so far. Now, on the heels of the actual outage, again, which was a first of Cardano, we saw IOG release a update for the Cardano node version. Now, all of the stake pool operators had to update their version in order to continue minting blocks as a part of the network. So as you guys can see here, this is a post from Twitter from Charles himself. And this was posted on January 27th of 2023, in which he basically lets the community know to go ahead and update their nodes, that the issue that was introduced or that was causing the intermittent outage had been fixed. Again, as some additional information here, I did go ahead and navigate to the official GitHub page for Cardano. And as you guys can see, this is going to be Cardano node version 1.35.5, which was released on January 27th at the same exact time that Charles had also relayed that information to the greater community. That said, we at the Dapp Central Stake Pool updated the stake pool itself on February 4th, which again was at the same exact time that we had re-updated or resubmitted that second certificate. That said, we can see here and we can confirm that the Dapp Central block producer node is currently running node version 1.35.5. Now, that is going to be the first thing that basically got us off to a rough start within the actual block producing in the stake pool system. Again, this was unforeseen. I had no idea, of course, that, and nobody else did, right, that the network would have this anomaly occur. And then for me specifically during the actual first pool certificate registration process. So unfortunate timing, and it did kind of slow us down there in terms of block production. But again, I want to release this video for you guys in the community, as you guys are very near and dear to my heart. Again, you guys are basically the backbone to this channel. Without anybody viewing this channel, I would not be able to create content here on this platform. So with being transparent and with being honest, I hope you guys can understand exactly where I'm coming from. And this has been quite a few stressful epochs for me personally, but I'm going to continue to provide you guys with the latest content within Cardano, which is what I was doing before actually running the stake pool. And I actually like doing that. And again, I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from when it comes to this update. Now, the next thing, right, now that we are able to basically produce blocks because the certificate is now active as a part of epoch number 395, is that we've just had poor luck when it comes to actual minting blocks. If you guys don't know, I'm going to kind of try to summarize this very briefly here, but whenever you are allotted a block minting period, you're not the only person available to mint that block. So for example, you may be allotted to mint a block as a part of epoch number 395. And when that time comes, you'll mint your block, but another stake pool operator may also be allotted to mint a block at the same time. Now, the Cardano blockchain will actually take a look at both of those blocks, and one of those blocks will be accepted as the true block that actually gets written to the blockchain and recorded forever. And then one of those blocks will be kind of tossed to the side and not used. That said, what we have seen as a part of the Dapp Central Stake Pool is as a part of epoch number 395, which is pictured here on the top left-hand side. You can see again that this is for the Dapp Central Stake Pool with my stake pool ticker or my stake pool ID listed here. that we were allotted to mint 2 blocks as a part of that particular epoch. Again, you can see that is scheduled down here. Now, after actually letting this time pass, we did lose both of the slot battles. Again, this is in which we have more than 1 or 2 block producers, right, producing or competing to produce the block that's going to actually be kept on the blockchain. So again, this was just really poor luck. There are a lot of different variables that play into whether or not you're able to win a blockchain battle, or a slot battle, I should say. But a lot of that does come down to luck, and it's not anything that I can actually dictate or change myself, right? All I can do as a stake pool operator is make sure to have the delegation available, make sure to have my relays up and running, and make sure to have my certificate to be actually eligible to mint, which I've all already done. Now, as a part of epoch number 396, which is right here on the right-hand side, as you guys can see, again, we were scheduled to mint 1 single block. Again, that particular block was lost to a slot battle with another stake pool, which I'm not going to name here, obviously, for privacy reasons. But I do have the supporting information to go ahead and actually confirm that we did produce a block. And actually, we produced 3 blocks, right? However, all 3 of those blocks were rejected when it came time for the blockchain to actually pick a winner, which again is not necessarily up to me. There's a lot of different variables and factors here at play when the actual slot battle is ongoing. In closing here, right, it says here on the Cardano blockchain, slot battles happen when more than one pool is chosen to add a block to the Cardano blockchain at the same time. It's almost like a foot race where multiple runners are trying to cross the finish line at the same time, but only one winner can be recorded as the official finisher. Hopefully that helps you guys to understand a little bit of what's going on there. Again, this is a very simplified version of what's going on. I can definitely let you guys know that from firsthand experience here, looking at the logs, looking at just what's going on here as a part of the actual node itself is very, very complicated and very, very involved. That said, I do want to also highlight what we've personally done here at the Dapp Central channel to make sure that there's no issues again moving forward. So we've made 3 changes, which I want to highlight. The first is that we've added an additional relay to make sure that at any time the block producing node is available with little to no latency. Again, this is just a step to add additional redundancy to make sure that whenever we're needed to produce, we are able to produce. Now, in the previous example that I showed you with those 3 blocks that we lost to slot battles, we did successfully produce blocks. So there's no issue with producing itself. It's more or less with the additional variables that come into picking the slot battle winners. The second update that we've made is that we've added additional scripts to the node and the servers hosting the block producing nodes and the relays to make sure that in the future, if there are any additional restarts or anomalies, that we're able to basically get alerts right away, and that we're also basically able to restart our topology settings in order to make sure that we're tied back into the network as quickly as possible. Again, nobody knew what was going to happen on the 23rd with that intermittent outage, but now that we are aware that that is possible, even here on Cardano, as many of us would like to think that this is a really superior blockchain compared to others, and which I personally believe that it is, right? We can only do the best, and that's going ahead and actually making sure that we are prepared for any future issues. So that's the second update that we've done there. The third change that we've made, or the third update that we've made to mitigate any additional issues or concerns, right, for the delegators, is that we've gone ahead and updated all of the stake pool certificates and made sure that everything is valid and currently active. Now, there's going to be a few different keys, or I want to say they're actually called KES certificates, which need to be rotated or updated every 3 months. And preemptively, we've just gone ahead and actually made those updates now, making sure that everything, again, is going to be valid. That said, I just want to thank everyone within the community for continuing to support me along my mission to educate within the Cardano community. I know that I started this journey without the stake pool, and life was definitely a lot simpler back then. But again, I really wanted to contribute to the security and the decentralization, of the network, which is why I've chosen to become a stake pool operator. That said, the community has shown me so much support, which I'm very, very thankful for. And I'm going to do my best and continue to do my best to make sure to produce that first block. As soon as that first block is minted, I will go ahead and release a fully dedicated video basically highlighting that and spreading that information to you guys. And once we do start producing blocks more consistently, I will be providing the delegators within my community with epoch-based updates surrounding exactly how many rewards have been earned, how many blocks were minted, and all of that additional information. Now, in closing, I did also announce that I will be giving away the Meld and Genius Yield tokens as a part of the months of March all the way through May. So if you're currently delegated, right, you don't have to worry. You will be receiving, and that's a promise directly from me, the Meld and Genius Yield tokens. Keep in mind that these are actually going to be my tokens personally that I'm going to be choosing to distribute. I'm not doing this in collaboration with Meld or Genius Yield. I do have to state that. And again, this is just a token of appreciation for everybody who's been here from the very, very beginning, even before I actually had the stake pool up and running. So if you're delegated, don't worry. I'm going to be releasing a fully dedicated video. I hope this upcoming weekend, basically highlighting exactly how I'm going to do that and how you guys will be able to claim your Meld and Genius Yield tokens through the Tosi Drop platform. That said, I'm not a quitter when it comes to being natural, mentally, or even spiritually, and I don't plan on becoming a quitter when it comes to Cardano. So I thank you all for sticking alongside me the entire time. I hope that this gives you guys within the community a little bit of clarity as to what's going on within the stake pool. And as I mentioned at the very beginning here, my goal is to be as transparent and as honest with you guys in the community. Again, without the delegators, there's no stake pool, and without the support on YouTube, there is no YouTube channel. So I thank you guys, and I hope that you guys can really find the importance of this particular video. And as always, if you guys have any questions about anything that I talked about as a part of today's update, if you have any questions about how staking works, how to delegate, or exactly what's going on with the stake pool in general, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly. I am more than happy to go ahead and answer the questions. That said, again, I want to thank all of the delegators, all the commenters, everybody who just hits the like button, everybody who shows me support on Twitter throughout this entire process. It really does mean a lot. As I mentioned, this past few epochs have been a little bit stressful for me, and I really wanted to get this video out to give a little bit more clarity and hopefully settle some of the delegators down within the Dapp Central Stake pool. Again, trying to do things preemptively and not react to situations after the fact. That said, I appreciate you guys tuning in and sticking around for this entire video. It really does mean a lot to me, and I wish you all a happy and great evening.